and Super Bowl that. We didn't know if 2019 was an outlier. I mean, we thought the team was good in 2021. We didn't know, right? So I think it's easy to go back and have revisionist history on what the Niners could have, should have. They should have taken somebody else. Maybe they shouldn't have taken any quarterback. I mean, you could have made that argument, but they did. And that coach did. And so these two things can't coexist moving forward. And this is something that I'm going to say to myself. You can't tell me Kyle Shanahan is brilliant and also say they're idiots for taking Trey Lance. Right. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. The question is, what's your hit rate looking like?
Right, and how can you overcome the miss?
Exactly.
How can you overcome the miss? That's something the Warriors are dealing with right now with James Wiseman. Heck, they moved on from Jordan Poole. They're hoping that Kuminga, who, by the way, looks good in these workouts, I think a year 3 leap is coming. I'm praying on it.
How many 60-point performances like his Pro-Am debut?
Oh, my gosh. I mean,
or whatever that was.
I'm not selling any stock in Kuminga. I think Moses Moody's going to be a lot better in year number 3. I'm really excited about the Dubs. Schedule release today at 12 o'clock. Mike Dunleavy Jr. joined in Styles and Guru. How about that? Styles comes in and fills in for Steiny.
Well, and Steiny's doing fine. He was at Ballybunion. That's where my dad played in Ireland. Yeah, Steiny's having a nice little golf trip.
Oh, well, he's missing out on Mike
How
Dunleavy
many golf
Jr.
balls has that guy lost?
I have no idea. But he brought up Trey Lance could be a miss, right? And so
there's so many of them I can't even count.
I was having a conversation with Dave Bernstein at NBC yesterday.
Oh, yeah? About trying to get me on?
I knew you were going to say that when I was driving in. And absolutely not. And I'm going to tell you right now.
I still squeezed it in, though.
I'm going to tell you, the more you talk about it, the farther down on the depth chart you fall.
I know.
In terms of people to call.
I know.
You just got to let it happen organically.
Every inch of my body and anything that comes out is for sale. It's true.
They know that, and they still are passing on you. I'm kidding.
I don't blame them.
So
I feel like Charlie and Always Sunny. Wild card.
So we're talking because the NFL schedule is going to be released, right? Or excuse me, NBA schedule is going to be released. So we're going to get together, have lunch, talk about the season, days off, all that stuff, schedules, everything like that. And I can't wait. So out of nowhere, he gives me a call. Dave Bernstein, NBC. He goes, "Now I just had a realization on where Trey should play for the next 2 seasons." I said, "Huh." I had a little conversation. And again, it makes so much sense. This is why the Morning Roast is where we're at. Because we take the listeners, we take the roasters, and we bring your ideas to the show.
Yeah, we repackage other stuff.
Right. And we give you credit.
Our name on
and listen, we give you credit.
Okay.
Ben Wildcat gets credit for the Buster Posey stuff.
Yeah, that's the journalist in you.
That's the journalist in you.
You got to cite your sources.
Dave Bernstein.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, and we start talking. So let's just say this Trey Lance stuff doesn't work. We have no idea if he's going to be backup quarterback. We don't know if he's going to be QB3. We don't know if he's going to make the roster if they trade for him. Right. Everything is on the table.
Right.
Saturday can't come soon enough at Levi Stadium against the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, that's...
and we'll see how it looks. Nobody, we'll see how it looks. But if trade doesn't work out, because I don't know how much better he can get on the scout team. I don't know how much he can get better holding a clipboard.
Okay.
Trey Lance needs to play. He needs to play. Like we talked about James Wiseman before he got to Detroit. He needs to play.
Okay.
Rookies cannot get better. Young players cannot get better without playing because of the ADD and everything, and they're watching. They need to play through the mistakes. Trey needs to play.
So you're going to trade him to the Wizards?
Nah, you're not going to trade him to the Wizards. How about this? Dave Bernstein goes, there's a couple ideas of places he could go play. I go, what, the Atlanta Falcons? He goes, no. Tampa Bay Bucks? No. How about Trey Lance? If he doesn't get an opportunity to play with the 49ers, and I know people, their heads are about to rip off. 888-957-9570. Line them up right now because you may think I'm crazy or you may think Dave Bernstein crazy, but I think he's onto something here. Trey Lance should go to the CFL and go play football for a couple years. Go to the CFL, go play every single game, go see some live bullets. Come back a couple years later, and maybe teams will be after you. Now, you may think it sounds insane, but then you do some research. You say, well, Jeff Garcia went to the CFL.
Yeah.
Turned out not to be bad in the NFL. Warren Moon spent his first 4 to 6 years in the CFL.
Doug Flutie. Sean
Salisbury. Vince Ferragamo. A lot of guys go to the CFL. Quarterbacks.
Ferragamo.
Joe Cap. Remember him? Cal Berkeley?
Uh-huh.
It's not the craziest idea in the world.
Isn't there a modern stigma that is different than maybe the generation prior where because most of those guys you're referencing are from a generation or two or three before this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like once you kind of do that, isn't that kind of waving? Like in this era, Ricky Williams also, I believe, played Canadian football and then came back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah.
There's DeAndre Carter from the Chargers. He was in the CFL, came back to play with the Chargers. Look, it sounds insane. It sounds insane. But what does Trey Lance need to do? He needs to play. He needs experience.
It's a great idea in concept, but I don't want to feel that I'm. It'd be like saying you need to go to Europe first and play basketball in Europe before you can come to the NBA. I don't know. It's not that you're trying to be disrespectful. I know that's not what you're trying to do.
PJ Walker in the XFL, and now he's back in the league. Listen. I know. It sounds. People are going to say this, and this is why you got to block out the noise. People are going to say the CFL really, Bonte. That's a demotion. Yes, it is. But I'm looking at Trey Lance. If he goes to another team and he's a backup quarterback, and he plays and he's on a terrible team and he looks awful. Mm-hmm. This guy may be closer to being out the league all in general. He may be closer to being out the league.
But let's just say, hypothetically, we're looking at situations around the league. Washington football team.
Honestly, I would say this about any quarterback. White, black, Chinese, anything. If you need to play, you need to play.
But okay. Let's use your particular life experience. How many people told a young Bonte Hill when he was behind a board, all right, pushing buttons for someone else's show, you need to go to Fresno, you need to go to Topeka,
they
Kansas.
Told me, and I told them, F you.
And what did you do?
I stayed here.
Okay.
But this is the only market I know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, his counter would be this is the only thing I know. And last year is a great example of, hey, this guy who was fourth, essentially, heading into training camp, Brock Purdy, worked his way up to being the starter in a calendar year.
Right.
Very unique situation.
Right.
It's unlikely at times for that to happen for any team. But I look at some of these quarterback situations. You really think Desmond Ritter is going to play all 17 games for the Falcons?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know.
You really think Washington is going to just roll out there? Who's the North Carolina quarterback they got?
Sam Howell.
Yeah, you think that's
Jacoby Brissett is the backup.
I think you have an opportunity. There are 5-6 locations that you could look at around the league at any given time. Even the Arizona Cardinals. Is he better than Colt McCoy right now before Kyler Murray comes back? No.
But he goes to Arizona, he's going to get destroyed. That's not a winning situation for Trey Lance. That's not a situation to where rookie head coach. Don't know who the coordinator is. Completely different system. Look,
conceptually, I understand exactly your point of view, and I actually agree with a lot of what you're saying. Here's what I would say. This guy's already played at a remedial level in college, and that is being held against him, and it's also kind of what's probably slowing him down a little as well.
Well, look at this is.
So he's going to go remedial again? Listen, I don't know.
There's a couple people disagree. There's a couple people agree. No, Xfinity Mobile text line.
It's an interesting idea.
Dave Bursey floated this, and I thought about it. I said, you know what? He could revive his career up there. I would say this about any quarterback. Any young quarterback, I said, these guys need to play. Like Jordan Love, we'll see about him. Although he got the lure behind Aaron Rodgers, and you knew he wasn't going to be the starter, how much better did he get with scout team reps? How much better did he get on a practice squad? I have no idea. I have no idea what that does for you. Now, obviously, Brock Purdy was able to get those reps on the scout team last year, and maybe that's why he was ready to go when he did get inserted once Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. I have no idea.
I don't know.
But 408, this is kind of my line of thinking with this, because I thought about this long. I said, boy, am I going to bring this on the airways? People are going to think I'm on crack. They really do.
Well, how do we go from he needs QB1 reps a couple weeks ago to maybe he should think about the CFL?
How do we do that?
Like a
But how do we do that?
Huge pivot.
It is a huge pivot, but how do we do that? He's not getting QB1 reps. He's not going to get QB1 reps. Why? Number one, Brock Purdy's a starter, but two, Brock Purdy missed all of OTAs and minicamp, so he's got to build this rapport with Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and the rest of these wide receivers. 408 says, Bonte, it's not the craziest idea in the world because the CFL is a pass-happy league. And what does Trey Lance need to do? He needs to pass. He needs to get better at passing.
In that I agree with. But I don't know. I don't know.
It sounds crazy.
You threw me for a loop with this.
It sounds crazy. But Trey Lance needs to play. Where's he going to play at?
So let's take a deep breath. Not saying that you're not. I'm saying the audience is listening right now. What if he has a decent showing this weekend? he just looks a little more competent. Looks a little more like a NFL backup. Right. What if that happens? Right? Are we all going to settle down a little? Look, if he looks real shaky again this week, it might be that might just be in his cards.
Maybe.
I don't know. That just might be in his cards.
Maybe.
But I kind of need to see a little more before I'm ready to make that determination. Just me.
I'm saying if I'm Trey, because he's going to want to be on the NFL team, but I don't know. And Tyler Miller, you keep throwing the stats, 10 to 15, 1 touchdown, 111 rating. If the interception happens in the end zone, the rating's at 33. So stop. We know how Trey looked. Tyler, you're smarter than that. You're smarter than that. Hell, do you need to hear from JT O'Sullivan? Or wait, JT O'Sullivan was a good enough quarterback because he joined Willard and JD yesterday. He joined them, and here's what he said about Trey Lance's tape.
I'm never going to be the guy that puts an artificial ceiling on someone's ability to improve. I think that if you were to show me that film of his first half, that first quarter, and I were to not know what was invested draft capital-wise, I would say this player is going to have a hard time being on an NFL roster right now. Now, that's not reality, though. They have invested a significant amount of that capital into him. They are invested as an organization from the outside looking in his performance. And so, I think he can continue to develop. I think he's in a tough spot.
Tough spot. He's in a tough spot. And he is in a tough spot. And I'm thinking about his NFL career. He goes to a bad football team. He's done in the league. He's done. You may not ever get a shot. Jamarcus Russell never got a shot again.
Well,
ever.
But part of the Jamarcus, stuff of not getting another shots is the baked-in effort level and him not reading, watching the CDs and stuff that they were giving him. By all accounts, it sounds like he's, this is why Blaine Gabbert keeps getting opportunities. You got to be professional, right? There's a level of professionalism that is kind of required at the position.
I agree. Let's go to the lines here. Uncle G, first we'll go to TC, then Uncle G. TC up in Sacramento. I know you agree with me, TC. I know you like that idea. If Trey Lance gets moved.
Man, knock it off. Look, Bonte, Joe, hey, y'all know y'all my boys, man.
I love
That's
you,
ridiculous.
TC.
That's a sad moment right there, bro, going to the TFL or the XFL. Trey is in a perfect spot where he at right now. For this, he's just going to grind it up, bro. You have to grind it up and let it play out how it play out. I'm tired of everybody trying to dish him off the team. If you got to go to third string,
but
it is what it is, bro.
Hear me out, TC.
You know what I'm saying? The work.
Hear me out, TC.
No,
I know you. Listen, I love Trey Lance just as much as you do. I love Trey Lance. But I'm looking out for his long-term interest if he has to move on from the 49ers. And if he goes to a team like Tampa Bay, he's going to get ruined. I don't want that to happen for him. I don't. Go ahead, TC. I'm sorry.
Bonte, Shasky, look, he's still in the NFL and he's still getting NFL reps. Listen to what you're saying and listen to what that guy told you yesterday. The CFL, bro, come on, man, that's a sad moment. It's already sad. Everybody already turned their backs on him. You talking about going to the XFL?
No, CFL. I'm not saying the XFL. I'm saying the CFL, where it's a pass-happy league, and a lot of guys have reinvented themselves in the CFL.
But wouldn't you agree there's also a stigma that comes along with it?
Absolutely. You got to ignore the stigma. You got to get over that.
That's true.
You got to get over it. We go through that we got to go through that in all walks of life, right? I date a Russian girl. You don't think there's a stigma on me? Oh, man, there's a stigma in my community that, man, if you date outside the race, are you a sellout or whatnot? So anyway, I don't want to go down that road.
No, but it's
TC.
a good point. You don't care about what people think. Right. That's a good point.
TC, go ahead.
Yeah, no, listen. Never care about what people think, but I'm talking about Trey. Listen, bro, I'm standing in the NFL. Listen, check it out. If I got to grind my way up behind Purdy and Darnold, we don't even know if he's gone. If he is not winning the second job, we just talking because we've seen the Raider game and looked up and down. Let it play out how it play out. Kyle Stilling came out and said that. That's a bunch of people talking about Sam. I don't want to hear that until we physically see it. Obviously, it doesn't take rocket science. We know that Brock is a starter. Everybody knows that. So we're just going to deal with it. But as far as the second quarterback and the third string, we don't know if he's going to be the second string. We got people talking about he's off the team, and we don't know that until it plays out. And if it plays out that way, Trey, your third string, bro, grind it out. Sam will probably get hurt. Brock will probably get. Ain't no telling what's going to happen, bro. But I'm not going to the CFL. Kyle, listen, check it out. Give me the playbook, and I'm going to grind it out, bro. These dudes better be on their game. If they not, I'm coming back from our starting spot. If I'm Trey, that's how I'm feeling, bro. I'm not going to no CFL. That's ridiculous.